Thank you, Mr. Chairman, the chairman of the Committee on Public Accountability and Investigations. I'm just trying to rub that in to remind some people that there are three branches of government: the executive, the judiciary, and the legislative, the legislature. It just so happens that the Constitution says the legislature has the power of the purse. So we are doing our committee work. We are looking how the people's money is being spent. We're looking at the possibility of the PSDBM being, say, upgraded, updated, dissolved, or what have you. Depends on the outcome or the output of the committee. We may amend its creation. But big or small, the public have the right to know on how their money is being spent. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I would not like to ask many questions today, except for one. One question, if you don't mind. And so that we are not accused or suspected of bullying, may I ask that Mr. Huang, Mr. Huang, who is in Singapore, if he is here, to give me an answer to a simple question. Mr. Huang, are you here?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm present.
All right, Mr. Huang.
Mr. President, just a moment. Just for the record, Mr. Lincoln Huang, when he was being cross-examined, he said, "Can Mr. Huang make a presentation?" I said, "In due time, we will call him." And now the Senate President himself is calling Mr. Huang. Mr. Huang, please proceed.
Yes, Mr. Huang, please go ahead. Go ahead. Give the chairman your statement so that we are not accused of anything else. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Senate President, honorable senators. On behalf of Pharmally Pharmaceutical Corporation, we really would like to cooperate with the hearings and the understandings of the inquiries. During the past few hearings and the past few weeks, there's been multiple concerns that were raised. And I'd really like to address several of the topics raised today. And number one, there is the concern of high price. We would like to point out that in these transactions, the capacity of our companies is only really in the role of a bidder or seller in a layman's term. The company is a business entity. What we really attempt to do as a business is to offer the best price available within the constraints of our abilities so that we can attract customers. And in this case, the customer was the government procurement entity. And what really, I would say, what really determines the price that we offer is, in a broad term, is the supply and demand. When the demand for something is really high and the supply is low, then the price goes up. And when we bring this into context, during this time, during the period of these transactions, there was really a worldwide pandemic. Everyone around the world, regardless of any social standing, we are all faced with COVID-19. And sadly, during that time, the only protection that we have for anyone is masks and PPEs. So this global demand, drastic demand, really bring up the price. So of course, if we look back on those prices now, they seem exorbitant. I would agree, they seem exorbitant. But when we compare, we need to acknowledge that it was during the circumstances and the time frame when the transactions happened. I know many have questioned about the masks we sold, 27.72 pesos per piece. But we need to really say that those masks are sold and delivered all in the month of April 2020. That was really the height of the pandemic. And it was, the acquiring cost for us was relatively high. And so it was very difficult to address that. Of course, I really welcome the decision to only acquire from local manufacturers, to support the people there. But as to our concerns, we really just offered our best price at that moment. And number two is how how come a small company like us, we were able to receive billions in deals? What I would say is we started somewhere. We never denied we are small, and this is really reflected in all the documents that were submitted to us to the procuring entity. I want to highlight that we have been compliant with any of the requirements submitted to us. If not, we'll never have been awarded or even allowed to collect payments after. The whole thing is that what happened really was when there was a bid, we bid it with the best of our abilities. And when we were awarded, if and when we were awarded, we would successfully deliver diligently. And only after will we be compensated. There was really never an instant where we got a single peso or centavo to do our business from the government. And it was not one contract that got us to billion-dollar deals. We just kept trying. As I mentioned before, I guess we three young men were a bit too ambitious. We thought we can if we can manage the supply side, we were able to complete these deals. So we just kept trying, and then after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we just kept trying so that we will prevent ourselves from getting blacklisted. And what I guess the company always wanted to do is just make good of our obligation to deliver. I think that is really the ultimate goal and what really drives us, because we realize that if we don't deliver, there will be very serious consequences. And then there are also talks that we are favored by the procurement entity. As I said before, we are a business. Sometimes we win the business, and sometimes really, we don't, and they go elsewhere. We don't always win in these government bids. There's been more than 12 instances where we bidded and we didn't win. We were not awarded a bid. These are all really public records. We don't have that 100% success story. And if you really consider the amount of bids that we lost, the contract value is close to approximately 14.48 billions. Of course, what we really want to say is we don't always win, and what we do is just keep trying, and keep trying. And when we do win a bid, or we are awarded a bid, we just want to make good of the obligation, because we realize it's not just about winning, it's about getting these life-saving equipment critically that needed as fast as possible. So for our perspective, that is what we do. And also there are also questions about my personal history. I'm really open to discuss this. I mean, about things about my personal history with my previous employer, or even about my father in question. But I want to also state that the question today is about the company. The company is different from that company in 2017. The shareholders are different. We are not a dummy. It's really me finding my good friends, people I met in the Philippines, with Mohit and Lincoln, together to start a business, because that previous one by my father and his partners are not going to push through. So I just didn't want to waste my effort. And many people can question why I used this very similar name. I guess it was a very stupid choice, because at the time I just wanted to rub off on the fact that that company was still a listed company. You want to rub off on the fact that even the VP in that sense. So I really regret that. But the Pharmally Pharmaceutical Corporation and Pharmally Biological is really completely different company. I need to say it on record. And regarding the statement I made previously about our relationship with Mr. Michael Young, I'm not here to defend Mr. Michael Young. He really does not know about my involvement with Pharmally Pharmaceutical Corporation, because I was scared to go to him, because when your father make a promise to do something, and he left you in charge to do it, and then somehow that doesn't happen. It's just very embarrassing to go up to someone and try to ask for help. But when we were awarded the contract, we really want to make good and deliver. So after, even despite my reluctance, I think we asked Lincoln to approach Mr. Michael Young in his personal capacity. So I don't know, maybe that's why he said he doesn't know about a company, but he definitely knows about that. He is helping Mr. Lincoln for the contract in question. So I don't want to defend him, but the truth is he doesn't know about my personal involvement in this, or whether he knows about it's the company that is all. So I want to say is that what we want to say is that the company is a small startup. We are not affiliated with any government agencies or other private agencies. The shareholders and the corporate officers of the company are true and honest. And no, I believe what we won. I hope that we won the contracts by way of merit, by the price we offer, by the time or delivery schedule that we can offer. No, I don't think really we won it through any form of connections. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to this committee.
All right. So is that all, Mr. Huang? In that case, I leave it to you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.